me of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. 120, that's right. We are so excited to be here today. I do have to preface this entire podcast by letting everybody know that Adrian is down for the count. She's here.
I am here. I was like,
what? But she sounds a little raspy, even though she doesn't have COVID. But we actually spent yesterday in the emergency room. She's pretty sick. She's got a couple illnesses going on, but she did not want to miss this specific podcast because this is a very, very special podcast, guys. We are joined today by Karen and Meredith of the Animal Communication Collective. We are so excited.
This is huge, you guys.
It's so huge. We're partnering with them. I don't know if partner is the right word because there's no like money involved, but we are working together on a fundraising event that's coming up next weekend that we're super, super, super excited about. Guys, it's all about Heidi's Village and raising funds and raising awareness of the animals in need out there, right? So Heidi's Village is in Phoenix, Arizona. We have come to the Animal Communications Collective, ACC. I'm just going to call you like that so I don't keep stumbling over my words. But the ACC has partnered and continues to partner with different rescues to help raise funds for saving animals. And they offer their own services as animal communicators. They offer their own services to raise money for the event.
You know what?
And she's like, you know what? I'm better with my words.
You guys, I would love it if either of you could just share a little bit about yourselves, the Animal Communication Collective, and how you became an animal communicator.
Yes.
I think that they'll probably do it like way better than we can.
This is true.
And I'm going to start with you.
Well, we can at least try to do it a little better. Can't promise. But thanks for having us. We are so excited to be here, Adrian and Jay. And Adrian, we hope you feel better really soon. So I'm Karen Dendy Smith. I am one of the founding directors of the Animal Communication Collective. And Meredith, wherever she is in this screen for all you all, my partner in crime. And we have been doing this for 1.5 years as the collective, but I have been an animal communicator now for, I think like 3.5 years, 4 years formally. So the ACC, in no certain order, but we'll start with the Animal Communication Collective. It is a group of 30 amazing women to date who have all trained and been certified in animal communication together at the same school. We all passed some very rigorous testing to prove that and really have honed our intuition to be able to do this with the animals. So it was a lot of hard work, and we're very proud of the way that we connect with animals to give loving messages to people. We all came together and decided that doing this one-off just wasn't enough. It's amazing, but we really wanted to help shelters and rescues, especially as we were going into this frozen COVID state that we were all in. We all have a huge love of animals, and we realized that they were all really suffering because they weren't able to raise the funds they used to be able to raise when everybody could show up in the 3D. So this was born out of the idea of us all coming together and communicating and sharing animals' messages and teaching people that animals are our family and how they're all trying to help us at the soul level. And by doing this for these rescues and shelters, they get to raise funds and communicate and teach people about the animal-human relationship even more. And so this was our mission and how we originally got together.
I love it so much. Meredith.
Hi, I'm Meredith D. Tollison. I am in Tupelo, Mississippi. That's one great thing about this new world that we're all living in is we're all used to video broadcast and Zoom and things like that. And we can be all over the country. We're on opposite sides of the country right now, but we're still able to all come together with like-minded and like-hearted people to do the work that we want to do. So Karen brought this idea of the animal communication forward to a group of friends and colleagues and fellow students, alumni from the organization where we all studied. And I jumped right on it and said, I'm here. I'm going to help you do this. So she and I are now the co-directors of this organization. We have been doing events for about 1.5 years now, and worked with quite a few different shelters and rescues, everything from kitty cats to foxes to farm animal sanctuaries. So it's a lot of fun how many different types of people we get to meet. And we met Adrian and Jay through Karen, having followed them for quite some time, and said, "Hey, look at this thing we're doing," and they were so
I was stalking you guys.
stalking, a little bit nuts, but they were so supportive from the very first event that you guys attended, and now we're so excited to be working with you and with Gordon and Trevor and the phenomenal folks over at Heidi's Village in Phoenix, Arizona. Yet another long distance conversation we're going to be having.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us on today.
Oh, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm with Madison in the comments here that she said she loves your accent. Same with us. We love your
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
That's gonna milk it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Nicole
You
said
should.
in the comments that she's got to get her tickets. I want there's a link. Well, we'll talk more about this.
Yeah, but if you guys are, if anybody's interested and hasn't gotten your tickets yet, the link is in the description here. So go ahead and get your tickets. It's for next Saturday, the 18th, June 18th. So guys, sign up. It's going to be so much fun. Not only are they hosting an amazing animal communication session, but afterwards we're also doing an after party, and we're giving away prizes.
It's after party.
It's an after party. Okay. Party. But yes, we're going to be hosting an after party. We're going to be having drinks, giving away prizes, raising more money for awareness and for all those animals. And they have so many animals, guys. There's so many cats and dogs that need homes and that need nursing back to health. And it's neonatal kittens. I mean, it's amazing what they are doing. It's amazing what everybody in the rescue and shelter world is doing right now. But if you guys are, if you guys have not signed up, go ahead and click the link in the description, but don't go for too long because it's really exciting. And you guys already know this if you're here watching, probably, but Meredith and Karen have agreed to do an animal communication session with us here live today with our kitties. No pressure, but
none.
but for those of you guys that are like unfamiliar with animal communication, or you know how it works or what it is, I mean, I think most of you guys we have so many beautiful VIPs here, and they're really familiar with animal communication.
It's how we learned about animal.
Yeah, it's how we learned about animal communication is from them. But for anybody that's watching or listening and doesn't really understand what animal communication is, can you, Karen, explain a little bit more about animal communication?
Sure. First thing I want to say is we all can do this. Meredith and I decided we wanted to make this a profession, so we went through the rigorous training to be able to do that part of it. But we all have an innate sixth sense. It is part of our DNA. We come into the world with it. We have these radars in place. They get kind of dimmed down by the world and the expectations of society and, you know, the human expectation. And so, but we all have this potential, right? And there are times when you know how your animal's feeling. You just are like, oh, he feels so sad. And it's not because you made it up. It's because he really does. Fluffy really feels sad. Or, you know, Precious is like really upset at Monkey. You know, you can feel it. And they are communicating like this all the time. And what happens is, we begin to, the work that we've done and what we all can do is we have these antennae. It's like a radio wave station in our system, in our nervous system, and our energy that can pick up on radio waves in a lot of different ways. We hear, we see, we feel, we smell. Those are just some of the clairs, I guess, that people would call clairaudience, clairvoyance. Animals communicate like this all the time because they don't speak English.
Right.
Their way of communicating is through how they feel, and they emit that toward each other. They emit pictures toward each other. They send out energy waves so they can find each other. And so they're doing this all the time. It is how they operate. What we do is we kind of elevate our sensitivities and quiet the human consciousness and allow ourselves to get into a lighter state of mind and feel what they're feeling and ask them to share, because they are all individuals too and have the right to say no if they don't want to talk to us.
Right.
So we have to be in a very kind of calm and open state, and they really respect when we do that, and then they want to share. So from that place, we send out our pictures, our feelings, our intentions, and offer them to them and ask them to share back. And that's when we get into a two-way conversation.
That's so cool. And for those of you guys that haven't seen, we did a we did a podcast on animal communication, the first time that we were ever introduced to this. And that was back in 2020 when our Mr. Biddles passed away very suddenly. He was just at a vet visit, and it was a routine vet visit. And he literally just had a heart attack and died on the vet table. We weren't there. It was tragic. It was out of the blue. And one of our beautiful VIPs actually gifted us with an animal communication session. Excuse me. So we were like, okay, well, let's see what it is. And then, and we had no idea. And it was actually really amazing. So amazing that we went back and got another session so that we could talk to one of our cats that is still here and see what he's feeling. And we've done some stuff with you, Karen, talking to our Mr. Twister, and found out some stuff that we didn't know that was going on in his back and spine end. And with Meredith too. You guys have been fantastic. So we're really excited that you're bringing more light to animal communication in general, because I think it's, for us humans, we do. I mean, we all know that our animals communicate in the way that you just explained, right? Like, I can watch our cats come up to each other, and you're like, I know they're saying something to each other, but how are they saying it? Is it their tail? The other one's not looking at his tail. Right. And he knows something, you can tell that they're communicating not verbally, not even with body language, as we often think that they do. I mean, they can communicate with us with their body language and verbally, not in our language. But what you were saying about how they actually communicate with each other all the time in this way is so true. And it actually, that's really the best definition that I've ever heard of animal communication, because that makes more sense to me than any of the other woo-woo stuff that is out there.
Yeah. What I really love too, this thing that we're doing with Heidi's Village, I love that there are probably a lot of people that are kind of skeptical, like we were initially. And I feel like it's fascinating that you guys are using the Animal Communication Collective to do these events for charities that really rescues that really need help. Like Heidi's Village is doing some incredible stuff. We've had the pleasure of meeting with them a few times, and what do they have? Like 70 neonatal kittens
just in house, just in their nursery. They have 70 more than 70 in foster care right now of neonatal.
Yeah.
So they are, I mean, the people and the volunteers that work with Heidi's Village, everyone is just working around the clock all the time to save animals. And it's just such a beautiful thing. I think everybody should get a ticket. It's not expensive. It's a Saturday afternoon.
And for those of you that don't understand or don't know quite yet, Meredith, will you tell a little bit about, I think this is the big draw, right? Like, you guys are actually going to be picking people during the main event. Explain that a little bit, because I think that's such a big hook for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. And side note, I'll be unveiling the 2 signature cocktails to you ladies probably this evening. They're awesome. I've done some taste testing. It's a brunch event in Phoenix, and so we've created some signature cocktails for the after party that everyone can make while they come and have a little chit chat with Adrienne and Jay after we finish the main event. So here's how it works. We'll be on Zoom with these ladies and these guys from Heidi's Village. We'll talk a little bit about the work that we're all doing. And then our team, it'll be Karen and me and several other members of the Animal Communication Collective. And we will be intuitively selecting people from the audience, from the attendees of the event. And we'll be offering little mini animal communication readings, get a little idea of some personality about their animals, and then help deliver the message that their animal wants them to know about why their animal is in their life and why they've come to work with them on a particular lesson where animals have, they've mastered unconditional love. And that's something we as humans are still really working on. Yeah. So I believe, and the animals have told me, that they come into our lives at a particular time in a particular place for a particular reason to help us as humans grow and evolve. It's just amazing what they do for us. So yeah, we'll be giving quite a few readings to people who bought tickets and deliver their messages from their animals to them in a way that they can understand.
Yes, and that's in the main session. So if you just get if you don't have time to go to the after party, then then you can still have a chance to get an animal communication session with one of your animals here or that has passed. And then in the after party, they're actually going to be giving away some free full-time sessions or 30-minute sessions with you guys for with your animals. So there's ample amounts of possibility in order to be able to really better communicate with your animals. And that's what I really love about animal communication, is that I didn't know that it could actually be with a living cat that you have with you until after the fact. I thought it was always like the mediums, like you read, like you talk to somebody who's passed. But I didn't know that you could actually, and I'm telling you, the session that we had with Pooh Bear, he was laying right in front of us and he knew, like he was so many things, the way he did his ears, the way he would turn around and look at us, the way he would do like all kinds of different things that Pooh Bear doesn't do, he was doing during this session. And it was like, wow, it was very, very eye-opening.
And he told us some very revealing things. He's very right about.
It's funny to me that you mention, thank you for mentioning that they can be alive or in spirit, but it's funny to me that you thought it could only be with an animal in spirit. And it was strange to you to be able to communicate with a live animal. It's frequently the opposite for people who contact us. What do you mean you can talk to an animal who's passed? Do I have to have my cat right here with me? Can we, how do we, it's all energy. It's all energy. So it can be anywhere in any time, space, dimension. It's pretty phenomenal.
And the interesting thing, ladies, is even the fact that you are both so interested in helping cats and cat health, that the cat collective, which is an energy that governs the cat energy of this planet, there was a plan there even before you guys entered your own bodies, and the cats that chose you decided to show up and work with you so that you guys could actually become the two crazy cat ladies. So there's a much higher energetic purpose going on, even with our animals, and why we are who we are and what we're doing with them at this moment in time. And so even at the cat collective level, I'm already here. They're already they met. The reason why you met, the reason why you are together, the reason why you're doing what you're doing, and that you are the two crazy cat ladies, is because look at how many people's lives you're touching, helping them understand about cat health and doing this. So there's a huge plan even above all of our pay grades going on.
Yeah, I believe we both believe that wholeheartedly, because we thought we were dog people, and then all these cats just kept finding us, and we were like, well, I guess cat people.
And our cats that have passed were really some of our best teachers. I mean,
oh my goodness. In fact, let me tell you a quick story before we get to the animal communication reading. When Mama passed, she also passed, it was like a Mack truck situation. This was in February of 2015. And she started sneezing blood. So this was before we were the two crazy cat ladies, before we even had the idea.
She was 18 and she actually had kittens when she was 6 months old. My bad, part of me being an idiot cat mom. And they said that she wouldn't live. She prolapsed her uterus. She had to have a full blood transfusion, all that. But
they said she wouldn't live past 1 year of age, and she lived until she was 18.
But it was still a Mack truck.
Yeah, so it was still a Mack truck situation. She started sneezing blood, rushed to the vet, had to, it was a tumor, had to put her down. But we were both in big shock at that moment. We come home from the vet. It's like middle of the afternoon. We don't know what to do. And we can't really talk to each other, right? There was no oh, let's talk about this. It's so we just pour whiskey and we go sit outside around. We had this fire pit we built in the backyard, and it's under a big tree. So we just went and sat there, and we were just sipping on our whiskey, and this mockingbird comes down to the lowest branch.
You have the backstory about the mockingbird, though.
Well, wait. So it comes down to this lowest branch right in front of us and just starts sneezing the exact same way that Mama did that morning.
Wow.
And we were we looked at each other and we were like, Mama? And it was this instant, oh my God, that just happened. Then we could all of a sudden talk to each other. Then we were like, wow, she came back. To this day, we still have that mockingbird in our yard. She has protected our yard she chased off a hawk once from our, and I have a video of it. She chases off the pigeons of it in the backyard. Like it was quite amazing. But that was like our first real, like, oh, they do come back. Like or they're still around, right? At least not all of them have come back as a bird.
The cat
collective. The cat collect. You're not speaking loud enough for anybody to hear
Sorry.
you.
Yes, I called it the cat collective. So the what we would call the diva or deva of the cat energy. There's an overriding energy that runs each species as like a layer of energy, and that collective energy is kind of helps govern a lot of what cat actually is on this planet.
Crazy.
I love the story about the mockingbird. And I love that was exactly the thing that you had to have, the two of you had to have in that moment to open up your own communication. Yeah. And there are signs and there are synchronicities. And if we're just open to seeing them and understanding them, there's a lot of healing that can come from that too.
Yeah.
What would have happened if the mockingbird hadn't sneezed on you?
Oh, I know, right? That sounds like a great title to a book. But no, literally it was like that overwhelming feeling of like a healing instantly. Right. And it just happened. So we still had to go through some grieving processes, but it was like, wow, like it just felt, I still have chill bumps all over because it felt like
she was coming back to say,
it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We had no idea that she would stick around for so long.
Well, she's around whenever you need her. Like her being is around whenever you need her. I mean, my cat Hockey Puck, who passed away in 2017, is the reason why I do this. And whenever I start talking about him, I actually can feel him, like the vibration of him, like in my head, like on the top of my head.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it so much. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so what do you girls got for us?
Do any of our cats want to communicate right now?
You're already crying. She's already crying.
Oh, honey. Okay.
Certain things that we could pull off if you didn't point them out.
No, I don't think we can. Everybody knows that you cry at everything.
Meredith, what do you think? I'm wondering, you give us the names of all of your cats.
Okay, here.
Present.
You tell us. Do you want to talk? Well, we can do both. We could give us the names of all of your cats that are alive. Meredith, let's hone into a couple of those. And then you can give us the name of some of your cats that have passed, and we'll hone into one of those.
Okay.
See who shows up.
Okay, cool. So our current cat situation is our two youngest, Jack and Madison, then Friday and Zorro, and then Pooh Bear and Oliver Twist. And that's from youngest to oldest.
Okay.
And our cats that have passed since we've been together is Tiggy, Mama, Scotch, and Mr. Biddles.
Scotch. Mr. Biddles. Okay.
I couldn't even finish writing the first names. I am so tuned into Jack.
He is very loud.
All right. Well,
how do you feel about Jack, Karen?
Let's talk to Jack first.
Everybody's going to be very excited about this.
Okay, so let's just take a minute. We usually get quiet for a minute. Sometimes we close our eyes just to kind of open up and let them start. So just give us a second, okay? It's just making me laugh.
You want me to jump right in, Karen?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I mean, I didn't even have to. I closed my eyes. I took a deep breath, and here's Jack, and he's dressed in it's animated. He's dressed. Okay, you ladies have heard me say this before. I get information in all sorts of ways. I see, hear, feel, touch, taste, smell, but frequently I always set my intention before a reading to ask that the information comes to me in a way that I can adequately express to you and in a way that you will understand. Randomly, I don't know why, but it happens almost every time. I get something about cartoons like Bugs Bunny or Looney Tunes, or Monty Python or Star Wars. Don't know why that they use those illustrations for me, but they do. So immediately I have an illustrated comic, and I think it may actually be the logo of Detective Comics. My husband's a collector. If you could see behind me, there are thousands of comic books, but it's like an old timey Dick Tracy kind of era detective with a hat pulled down and a trench coat, and he kind of feels like maybe he's a good guy, but also a bad guy. He's sneaking in an alley and looking around corners, but he's giggling to himself as he's doing it. He's like, I look so tough and intimidating, but I'm really kind of funny. There's a little bit of a mischievous bit to his personality. Does that make any sense to you?
Oh my God. He is like, yes, he's the comedian of the family. We call him the comedian.
Don't tell us too much.
Oh, then yeah.
Until we're done. Just
Yes.
make sure
And
we
then you
make
can
it
tell
make
us
sense.
everything.
Yeah, then you can unload everything. But okay, so as Meredith, as you were coming, he started making me laugh because as he came in, he was kind of sauntering by me, and then he'd stop and show me his side and his butt. And he'd be like, I'm hot. And then he'd just keep walking, and then he'd turn around and he goes, you know I'm hot. And then he'd turn. So he's like really kind of toying with me and playing with me a little bit, like, yeah, I know I'm hot. I know I'm the one. I'm the dude. I'm the one. So he's got this real funny, upbeat character kind of personality as well. Like he thinks he's all that and the bag of chips, kind of.
He does.
Yes.
I feel like he's a true performer. I actually have an image of him like, ooh, costume change. And he has to go backstage and he's very flamboyant. And he comes out in like marabou and feathers. And he's like, nope, that's not the one. And goes back and puts on another costume and comes back out. But he definitely enjoys the being center stage and being noticed and having lots of different, I'm hearing hats that he can wear. And I see him literally like taking a hat and flinging it across the room and putting on another hat and flinging it across the room. And he's like, I wear so many hats. But there's an aspect of the playing a character through the costume changes that's coming through in this.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so I said to him, so why are you showing us this? What do you want me to tell your moms? And he says he said to me, I love entertaining them. And he also said sometimes he's a dynamic duo with another cat. And he kind of went like this. He's like, sometimes I'm a dynamic duo with them, but I'm the one in charge, even if we are a duo. But he really was like, I love entertaining them, is what he said to me.
Oh, sweet boy. Yeah. I totally get that. Can I say?
Now you can share if you'd like.
Okay. I'm like, can I go on? So he is like, he's definitely the comedian. He's definitely the entertainer of the house. He definitely wants all the attention. He likes to do his little stunt double mixes. Like he jumps up on the railing that's like way up in the like top, whatever.
He's such a character.
And he likes to do like little flips over. I call him acrojack sometimes, like because he's like trying to do his little, but he only does it if he knows we're watching. He doesn't do it like because he wants to do it. He only does it if if he's like, oh, I need attention, and it's so clear. In his dynamic duo, he
pointed
has
right here.
Yeah.
To our screen, it was
right, and there's his dynamic duo. Yeah. So I mean, his sister is she's the stronger of the two, but yet also not necessarily. But I think what resonated with me, the dynamic duo, is Twist and Oliver Twist, our two oldest boys, and Pooh Bear. They have this language, verbal language that with Jack that they have never had in the 18 years that we've had Oliver Twist, in the 12 years that we've had Pooh Bear. We've never heard them make these noises ever until Jack came around. And now
let's ask them why.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Shall we? I mean, before you tell us your view of it, let's ask
Oh my God.
Jack about the conversation. What do we need to know about the conversations that he's having with Oliver Twist and Pooh Bear?
Yes.
What do you think, Meredith? Should we ask him?
Yeah, let's ask him. And I'm okay. So what does he want us to know about the conversations he's having with Oliver Twist and Pooh Bear?
Yeah.
He's really rolling with this this on stage thing. And something you said a minute ago, I heard the words in my head. I don't perform for an empty house. Oh, you said he only does those ridiculous things when he knows you're watching. Yeah. He likes his audience. He doesn't perform for an empty house. But I literally see him in rehearsal on the stage, like doing these vocalizations and all this crazy, like, actors warming up, getting ready for things. he's telling me that he's teaching Oliver Twist and Pooh Bear. He's their vocal coach, but he's teaching them to express themselves. And he wants the two of you to know a message about expressing yourselves, about being comfortable expressing yourselves in new and different ways, and to say the things that you've always known how to say, but maybe you just didn't have the word, you didn't feel that you had the right words or the right platform to say them.
And when I asked him that question, I said, what's going on with that chatting with you and Oliver Twist and Pooh Bear? And so his view of it is he wants to be in charge, but he also wants to bring out, he kind of is paying homage to them a little bit by engaging with them to share with him. And so he's calling them out to bring some attention to them as kind of, I'm hearing the word, the venerables in the house.
I don't know what that word means.
Venerable means like paying homage to those who have come before you.
Oh.
Like the old and the wise. And
the old and the wise.
And
they have a lot to
elders.
share that they just keep to themselves. And he doesn't want them keeping it to themselves.
And I'll tell you what this feels like real quick. It feels like a transfer of oral history. Like,
I'm getting chills, Meredith, when you say that. I kind of
got chills too. It's transfer of information. It is handing down the stories in the oral tradition that's been part of the world for ever. They have stories to tell, and he's helping them tell them while they're with us in body.
Wow.
It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
That is cool.
Because, I was going to say, I think that the only explanation we've really kind of figured out is that it's kind of like that dominance thing. And it's something that Pooh Bear told us in his communication session was that one of the kittens was going to be very loud and difficult to deal with, and they were going to have to put him in his place. And neither one of the kittens were loud at the time. So we were like, okay. Now, Jack is obviously become very loud. And so we thought it was more of like a dominance thing, just like chirping.
Because they'll mount him afterwards.
They'll grab the back of his neck.
And then they had this like thing, but you could tell that he walks up to them and he has this conversation and he initiates this whole thing, even though it almost seems like he doesn't like it. Maybe he just gets more loud, but he like initiates this conversation that turns into them talking back and forth. And 9 times out of 10, whoever he's talking to of the two, they will grab the back of his neck and like mount him or hold him down.
Yeah.
Yep, that's them stepping up and being in charge.
Yeah.
Because they are the venerables.
Yeah.
But he's definitely enticing them. Like he's calling them out, is what he said to me.
I heard instigating.
Yeah, definitely.
But not in a way where he's trying to like pick a fight or anything, but in a prodding them sort of way to do the things that they still need to do.
It's sweet.
It's super sweet to watch.
We try not to stop it unless it gets like a little too loud, and then we're like, I think you need to stop, like because we know that he initiates it. Like we watch it, and we know that they've never spoken this language before.
And they get so excited about it. I mean, everyone's just very excited. They're very excited about it.
And he definitely
their body language is very happy tails and all of that. But it's but the mounting thing is always like
a little weird.
Well, to us, it's a little weird, but I mean, I know like cats are different. It's not necessarily a sexual thing.
Well, and
that dominance thing.
Right. And Pooh Bear used to do that with Mr. Biddles too.
Oh my goodness.
And Mr. Biddles, we called the bottom because
I love it.
He just like laid there and like took it. There was no noise, there was no chirping beforehand or anything like that.
Yeah.
We would just catch Pooh Bear mounting Mr. Biddles. And so, and that's another question I'd like to ask since we're on Jack here, because when we had that first animal communication session with Mr. Biddles, he said one thing that was like the very first thing that he said, and it made no sense to us.
Okay.
He said, or she told us that he fancied himself a comedian. This is before we even knew Jack and Madison like a few weeks before, but he fancied himself a comedian. And we were like, I don't think we ever laughed at him. He was always a cute cat. But he was never like, he never really had much. He wasn't that kind of personality, you know, like
Right.
a little bit bad. But then all of a sudden we meet Jack and there's this comedian that I've never even thought of a cat as a comedian until Jack.
Well, we'd have to invite Mr. Biddles to share from his perspective. So I would want to ask Mr. Biddles that question.
Okay.
I will say though that Jack just handed me a still photograph of Stephen Wright. He's like, that's a comedian, but you know how dry Stephen Wright was? Do you know the comedian I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh.
So dry, never cracked a smile, never had an expression on his face, and was funny as hell. And Jack's like, so he was Stephen Wright. Nobody realized how funny he was. And I'm hearing Gilbert Gottfried, rest his soul. Like he's that loud comic, and Stephen Wright is that deadpan straight comic.
Do you think it's possible that Jack came to like fulfill that comedic like role? I mean, it literally happened within weeks of each other, like us, like Boo Bear or Mr. Biddles suddenly passing, and then Jack and Madison being found and needed a home kind of thing. And it's just interesting that
there's definitely a hand. Okay. This is where it's like, you know, I feel like I feel like Mr. Biddles is like right here, right now over my head, passing the torch. He makes me feel like, so I feel Mr. Biddles right now in my chest. Like I feel so much love that he had for you guys, and appreciation. I don't know what that means to you, but he's very appreciative to you guys. And he says you took really good care of him. And he wants to make sure you have joy in your lives. So how that might equate to Jack and Madison, but he makes me feel like he's really wants to make sure you feel like you have joy in your lives. And that he shows me a period of time where you guys were really like doting on him. There was a period of time where you were really doting on him when he says he needed it most. Does that make sense to you?
Oh.
yeah.
Does it? Yeah. So he's
crying.
So he's just so deeply appreciative of he's calling them your acts of kindness when he was alive, that he really wanted to make sure you had joy and laughter.
Oh. Well, he has done a good job of that.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means to you, but I could just see he was just coming right through my chest to make sure you knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a song. Kelly's putting it in here in the comments. Mr. Beadoo's of love.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, if this isn't a good taste of what people can do, it's not what is?
Oh, you guys are the best. I'm so glad that Jack showed up. I actually told him earlier. I was like, "You want to talk to us today?" And
I'm surprised he didn't come in here. He was.
I know. He's like, I'll let him do it. He's probably out there like on the railing or something.
So, but okay, why does Zoro say, don't forget about me? I'm hearing that song, don't you forget about me. It is Zoro. Why is he singing me that song?
Because
Zoro is Jay's favorite.
He's the most perfect. No, he's not my favorite. He's just the most, okay, you're my favorite. But he's like the most perfect. He's just the most perfect boy. Like he's literally, he's kind of like, I think I described to you before with Oliver Twist. You know, he's like the protege of Oliver Twist, where he's always there, always helpful, always sweet, always kind, always, doing the right thing. Is there to eat his breakfast and his dinner and his lunch and whatever, like he's just like
it's easy to overlook when there's other things going on.
He doesn't have any health issues.
Or whatever.
He's happy now that you're talking about him.
Zippy, Zippy, my love.
Oh, my boy.
Yeah, because he's a very sweet boy. Meredith, what kind of energy are you picking up around Zorro? Because I just feel like this very sweet guy, just kind of
Very sweet and kind and good and just like not in any trouble. Kind of getting visuals of like the kids sneaking around the back of the high school to smoke cigarettes, and Zorro's like, not me. He's not a goody in any way. He's just, and not a rule follower. He's just on the right path and doesn't really care about all that other nonsense.
Yeah,
While
he's
Jack's
like
like
showing-
got the hook and the gong trying to pull him off stage, going, me. And Zora's like, no, me, here I am. Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
No, that's okay. He's like showing me him laying on like either the back of a couch or somewhere that's a little bit up and near a window, and he just lays there and he kind of just goes like one of these, and he looks back at you guys like, hi, I'm here. and that's his way of saying how happy he is, and he's just a content guy, he feels like. So he's just like, hi, moms, like that. Does he do that?
Nothing to prove.
Yeah.
He just is. This is just how he is. He's not faking it. He's not showing out. He's not trying to impress. This is just nothing to prove. This is just who I am.
I love that.
We actually have a window.
We have a catwalk, a super highway that's above the window, and he always lays there.
Oh,
And he was just laying there today, and we kept hearing like a hissing, and I was like, which one of the cats are hissing? Because it would be like she was in the bed and I was in my office, and then I would come out and I'm like, it's like Zorro and Twist and Madison, I think, that were laying out on the catwalk there. And I was like, I think Zorro's like into like I think Twist is getting like a little bit of whatever, because he's just like stretched out and he's like trying to get a little bit closer to him, and then he'd look back at me, and then he's so like he doesn't try to he doesn't get in trouble or anything, but sometimes Twist is like the old man that's like, get away from me or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
that's totally totally ZB.
And I was thinking, honestly, the last couple of days have been a little out of the ordinary for us.
And our cats.
Right. And I was thinking how there's usually, even though we're working all day, there's usually times throughout the day where I'll spend time with most each of the cats for a period of time. And that didn't happen yesterday, and it didn't happen today. And I feel like that's like where some of the little angstiness is coming from, and why it's like, even Friday was the one that I was thinking she was just really missing interaction today, because she was just getting extra today. So it's funny what they try to tell us.
I know.
I love that, my sweet Zorro.
Do you have any specific questions you want us to ask any of them?
When can you guys come and meet our cats?
Yes.
I'll be there next weekend. As soon as we can. I'd love to meet them all in person.
Oh, they're so amazing.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And Meredith and I, by the way, have a very special place in our hearts for black kitties. We love them all. And my Princess Dia is not a black cat, but we have a very special place in our hearts for our black kitties. Hockey Puck was my panther.
Yeah.
And I was raised by Siamese cats, but in my entire adult life, every cat has found me. I've never gone to get a cat, and they've all been black. I've had 11.
Wow. That's amazing.
I currently have 2.
2 Black Panthers?
2 panthers, 1 big, fat, sweet girl, and 1 evil genius.
I love it. I love it. We actually, these were our first black cats because like you said, like all of our cats have just found us. And this sibling set, when we rescued them, if you will, it was because it was kitten season, and the shelters were overwhelmed, and we were like, somebody's not going to take these 2. So we were like, we'll take them. And we had no idea what kind of amazing personalities, like amazing. I mean, every cat has an amazing personality, but there's something special about black cats and everybody has said it since then. They're like, their black cats just have these like very
crazy.
Yeah.
They're
Awesome.
very soulful. There's a lot of soul in those kitties,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
One question, because I thought about it earlier, and then it keeps pinging me, so I'm going to ask it before we run out of time. that our girls, so Madison and Friday, they
Okay.
are. Is there anything that they want to tell us?
Meredith, you go first with this one if you're ready.
So Friday, first of all, here I go back to that like Dick Tracy sort of era. Friday showing me her as the beautiful buxom, stockings and stiletto heels, secretary sort of setting, maybe in the detective's office, who knows? But she's telling me she looks like the assistant in this particular setting, but she's actually the brains behind the operation. That the detective thinks she works for him, but she's really mastering everything. Let me see if I can step back and get a little Madison. But
Yeah.
Friday she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. And that beautiful 40s era look and dress. She's like, I'm in charge. Discreetly.
It's so funny because Madison stepped forward for me. She came in like boom, 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 boom. Oh, Madison. And I wouldn't say a bull in a china shop, not like that, but she definitely came in like boom, 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 boom. I'm here.
She feels like a heavy walker.
Yeah.
She's both.
She's bow-legged.
Yeah, so she's got this weird walk. But okay, the first thing that came at full disclosure, I'm just the messenger. When I connected in with the two of them, we were like, bitches. A little bit. Like they were like, we can be bitches. Yeah. But they're kind of proud of that.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
We're feisty.
They are. Feisty. They get feisty together. They run, they play. We're like, we love it. And then sometimes Madison like gets overwhelmed or hisses or something, and we get worried. And I'm like, maybe we should have let them play. Maybe they're not getting along. We're not quite sure, but they seem like bitches. You know?
Do.
Yeah. They just get a little funky sometimes with each other. It's like,
it's a girl thing, right?
It's a girl thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Madison's showing herself as I don't know if she's a chunky girl, but she's kind of showing herself to me as a chunky girl and proud of it. Like she likes her, she feels a little bit powerful, and she keeps looking back at her booty, like, look at this beautiful booty of mine. And I know we've talked about cat booties before, but there's something that feels big and powerful coming from her inside. And then she shows me kind of a little kitty, but she's like, this is how big I feel. And she's dancing. She's dancing like Nell Carter at the beginning of Gimme a Break. That dance she did, no idea why. I spit it out. If it comes in, I spit it out.
It's so funny that.
Go ahead.
It's so funny. Friday is really attached to Meredith, and I keep getting Madison. Just like they pegged one.
This was Madison I was talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Madison. Okay. Because Madison was like jabbering in my ear about food.
Food?
Yeah. What kind of food?
She likes her food. She says, now I know how amazing you guys are about feeding your cats. So it's not even a question of like, what are you eating? I already know what they eat. But she really likes her food. She likes like she wants you to know there's something about the moisture, but not just the moisture, but there's some broth part of it that she's like really like grooving on it. So she's really into the brothiness of the food.
Really? I'll tell you, those two are like our girls are like the hardest to feed. Like all the boys are like, let's eat whatever. And then the girls are like, they walk us around the house or run around the house, and we have to chase them for their food. And like every meal, it's like, where do you want to eat today? And they're like, right here. No. I think I want to eat right here. No.
Yeah.
And then we have to chase them around the house every meal, almost every day, unless they're really, really hungry. And then they just jump up on the counter while we're putting it in the like plates or the bowls, and they dig in.
So there's a little bit, okay, it's very interesting because this is where we could get into soul lessons, right? Depending on how much time we had, and when we get into private readings with people, things like that trigger you guys to be like, what the heck is going on there? Why do they keep doing that? That's usually tied to a soul lesson, right? So this is where there's something about don't tell me what to do, is what I heard Madison say in particular, because she's the one who keeps at me. And she's like, I'll decide. I know when I'm hungry and I'll decide. So you're chasing her. And she also actually thinks it's funny that she's running you around in circles a little bit, she says. But there is something about I'll decide.
That is so Madison.
Yeah.
It's both the girls.
It's both of them. It is definitely her. And and they both love to run around, and that whole butt thing, booty thing, like looking back.
Mhm.
We call them both squirrels because they get the zoomies and they go running, whether they're with each other or on their own. Their tail like gets so big, like just like it's not their hair. They're not. They just like get the zoomies, and their tails get really big, and they look like squirrels.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Well,
They're
here
so
comes
cute.
Friday now.
Oh, hey, Friday. We're just talking about you.
Yes.
boo-boo.
Oh my gosh. You girls are so amazing. I am so excited. Thank you so much for
You're so
this. We're
welcome.
going to have to book a longer session, maybe like a 4 to 5
gonna
hour
have to
session
do-
or something where we
we're
can
gonna
sit
have
down
to
and
do-
talk to all the kitties. We really want
That'd be awesome.
with some of the ones that we haven't had the chance to that have passed, that are in spirit, if you will, now. We really, so we're gonna hit you guys up, but thank you guys
We would
so
love that.
joining us. If you
I'm so
guys
excited
want
about
just
next
a
weekend, too.
if you guys
It's gonna
just
be
want
amazing.
a piece of what we just got today with your kitties here or in spirit, do sign up for the event. And you can also, the link to the Animal Communication Collective is also in the description, so you guys can go check out more about their organization, what they do, who they are. And we're just so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Any final thoughts for two of my favorite intuitive people in the whole world?
I just want to say how thrilled we are that you wanted to collaborate with us on this event for Heidi's Village. It's going to be amazing. Or in Boston, we say amazeballs. So it's going to be wicked awesome. And we are just so thrilled to be collaborating with you and love what you do. We have such a profound respect for what you guys do for kitties and health. And we're so glad to be able to kind of work with you guys too.
You girls are beautiful.
Super excited. It's been so much fun in the planning process and doing things like this. And it's just amazing to see the community grow of people who care about the same things, and how wonderful. Oh, who was that?
Oh, baby.
It's Friday.
That's Friday.
What a shiny girl.
She's touching up her lipstick and straightening the seam down the back of her stockings to me.
We always call her Princess, and we call Madison Angel. Like
Nice.
those are like their names, like Princess. But I've always sung to her like the song, could you be the most beautiful girl in the world? So she knows.
You have songs for all of your kitties. You may have to make a mixtape.
I will make a mixtape. Yes.
I love that.
That would be fabulous.
I love it.
Everyone find you guys. What are all of your? I know we've got the ACC. You already said that.
The website, but on social media,
on
where can people
social,
follow you and keep up with all the awesome things that you guys are going to be doing?
So, I mean, as the ACC, as the Animal Communication Collective, we are on Facebook and Instagram. You can search us as the Animal Communication Collective. Once you get to the ACC website, there's a Teams page, and you can actually read. We all have our own pages, so you can read about us, a little bit about our backgrounds. We are all 100% volunteer. Nobody makes anything by being a part of the Animal Communication Collective, except for doing good work. But if anybody's ever interested in a private reading with one of us, you can go from the ACC site and click straight through to one of our professional business sites where you can book private readings with us, besides doing these great rescue organization events. So that's where you can find us. And from there, you'll see all of our personal Facebooks and Instagram handles and YouTube and all of that stuff. So it's a great kind of centralized place to find us all.
I love that.
Also a great place to send, if you know someone who has a shelter or a rescue, it's a great place to send them. We have a pretty detailed breakdown of how to go about reaching us to work together to set up an event. So if you are thinking in your head, I know somebody that this would be great for, send them to us. We'll be happy to give them a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And they guys, they do like all the work. Like they set up the event. They're really amazing and organized, which makes me a little orgasm-ish.
We're so glad we could do that for you, by the way.
It's amazing what you can do on video these days.
No, but I mean,
all out of the goodness of everyone's
Yes,
hearts.
that's
I
right.
thought that this is just such the motivation and the intention and all the vibes that go into this are so beautiful. And just even peripherally seeing the work that you guys have done in the past, just so incredible. And collaboration, that partnership, collaborating with you guys for this event for Heidi's Village.
And we hope again in the future.
Yes.
yes,
I agree.
yes, absolutely. Call us anytime. We're here.
Fabulous.
All right. We love you girls so much.
We
Thank
love
you.
you
Love
so
you too.
Thank you, everyone that joined us today. Again, look up Animal Communication Collective or click the link in the description to get your tickets to join for next week's
Saturday.
event. We're super excited and we love you all. Mwah! Have
We
a good
love
day.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you
now.
guys so much.